Hello, and I'm Freida Wales, and it's my pleasure to be chatting with Disasterina. As a child, this bizarre enigma was one of the two orphaned alien siblings with psychic powers who, after a crash landing on Earth, have to escape from Witch Mountain. Their show, Sado Psychiatrist, is available to watch now and gives you a little glimpse into the unique workings of their mind. One of the top 5 uglies featured in season 2 of the Boulet brothers' Dragula, I'd like to welcome Los Angeles' most disastrous drag queen, Disasterina!
Well, hello there, naughty boys and girls. It is I, Disasterina! Okay, give me my money.
This was actually a free gig. Thanks so much for joining us for Halloween. I mean, what better time of year to have you?
Halloween is the best holiday in the whole universe. I love it. It's so spooky and funny, and everybody gets to dress up in crazy costumes and stuff. What could be better?
And it just makes drag queens, you can just be as pretty as you want now.
Hey, who the fuck would want to be pretty? Ugh.
I just want to point out, I don't know if you can see my eyebrow in the video. But these eyebrow hairs are actually my pig's tail. I cut them yesterday.
Wow, you a kinky fuck.
All right, should we dive right into some questions?
Dive into the questions. I can't wait.
One could say you have a very unique drag look. How did you start painting that way?
Well, you know, it's interesting. I didn't know anything about drag. I didn't know anything about makeup when I started being the drag queen. When I first started, I went to other makeup artists and I paid them to do my mug. And then I thought, you know, I'm broke. Why am I paying these people to do this? I should just learn how to do it myself. So at first it was really atrocious what I was doing. I wouldn't take any lessons or anything. I wouldn't watch any videos. I'm just like, I'm going to do it myself, my own way, right? It's going to be great. And it just was not great. It was a big fucking disaster. And then I eventually got a tutorial from Casey Moosman, who was a finalist for Face Off. She was so kind to do a one-on-one instruction on how to do drag makeup. And this was prior to me going on to Dragula. And, you know, on Dragula was really the time that I really learned how to do makeup. It was sort of sink or swim. And I had done this or that beforehand, but really on the show was when I was learning on the job. I knew I had the talent to do it, but I had not honed my style yet. And that was right at the moment I was honing my style. So people who watched Dragula season 2 know that that was the first time that I really thought I did really successful makeups. I made it pretty, you know, halfway through. It was super fun being on the show. Behind the scenes, everything was I just loved every second of it. It was super, super cool.
Yeah, it seems like it'd be a fun time. A lot of stressful though, because those challenges are pretty tricky on that show.
Yes, it was stressful without a doubt. But I just, you know, even on the episode where I got exterminated, I was having a blast. I was just like living it in that bucket of ice. I thought it was just so cool that I was there. I just kept pinching myself to see if it was real or not. I thought it was fantastic. I loved it.
What would be kind of the first memory you had from your performances at Disasterina?
I came to drag a different way than most drag performers do. Most go through the club sort of system, like, you know, they perform to a lip sync. But me, before I got into drag, I was doing video sketch comedy and stuff on my little YouTube channel. And I was like writing, directing, I was doing little characters and stuff. So I was in a different zone. I was thinking, you know, well, I'm going to do a character. I'm going to be an actor doing a drag queen on my little YouTube show. So I did sort of like this thing that was kind of like a phony blog, but it was actually a real vlog because I was going to somebody who was doing a makeup on me, and I was going to someone who was going to do like face molds on me. So it was a pantomime, but it was like, it was things that I was doing. It started slow because on YouTube, nobody ever watches anything. I wasn't getting anywhere. So I decided, well, I'll do live. I had no intention of doing live shows. And because, you know, I love doing the videos so much. But then at DragCon, I bumped into the Boulet brothers. I met them there and they invited me to do something at their club. And there was this other woman who had a freak show. Had like a freak show. Tuesday Thomas had a live event, which was through it was like a video live event, almost like a cable access kind of thing. And so those two things I started doing live. But the one thing that I remember about Disasterina was like, the more disastrous I was, the more people liked it. So I had like these funny I had tons of props, and I had wacky ideas, and I made sure I gave everybody a really good show. So down there at Queen Kong, when the Boulets had me in there, I made sure that people got entertainment.
Can you give us a little insight on becoming so famous as an outlandish drag persona?
It's kind of like micro famous. But I kind of like it because it's the people who follow me and all the social media stuff, they are totally invested. And I think that is the case with the Dragula performers. Yeah. People who are on there for, who like Abora really fucking love Abora. And I've noticed that, my followers are very dedicated and they love me a lot. I think with other things that are sort of like out in the public realm, you sort of are a fair weather fan, but not with the Dragula talent. People really dive in because we're the outcasts, we're the misfits, we don't belong anywhere. And so we attract people who are on the outskirts, and they really appreciate what we do because we're monsters.
What is a normal day when you aren't as Disasterina?
Like I said, I've been an artist all my life. So during this whole pandemic situation, because my life and my lady wife's life are wrapped around doing art and doing events, performances, and conventions. We sell a lot of art at conventions and stuff like that. So we can't do any of it. So now with the pandemic, it's a little depressing, but it's sort of, we both had ups and downs, but I eventually started to just fuck around with doing some kind of nutty little sculptures. They turned out to be like demon sculptures, and they turned out to be super fun. And now we're thinking about doing like a micro museum somewhere where it will incorporate her artwork and my artwork in it and do like a whole environment. We were very inspired by this wonderful man named Scott Hovey, who has this thing called Cakeland. If you go to cakeland.la, you can find this beautiful museum that he created, and we were very inspired by that. And we're thinking, maybe we'll make something like this. Daily life is making art, planning about making art.
Just art, art, art.
Yeah, we don't have any events. We just like, okay, well, what kind of art are we going to make? What are we going to plan for when we can go outside the house?
And what kind of art does your wife do again?
She does a very lush, involved, sculptural stuff, incorporating different elements like taxidermy, and it's a lot of motion mechanics involved with it.
Oh, cool.
It's one of those things you can't really explain. You have to go see it. So you go to Ave Rose 13 on Instagram, AVEROSE 13 on Instagram. You can see all her beautiful artworks.
We'll make sure to include that in the description below.
Please do. Please do.
So if you were on an all-star season of Dragula, is there a challenge that you feel you wouldn't want to do?
I'm ready for anything. I don't know if I would do it because I really don't like the whole boy thing. I'm not interested in doing and being a boy. Doing that, I really have to think about it. But I really, whatever happens, I love the Boulets and I promote them 100%, and they're great, and I hope they continue.
Is there any challenges that you wish you got a chance to redo from your season?
Well, the final one, I think there was like the, the Gothic Bride thing. I think my performance was not that exciting. It was a little boring. So I think you don't see that. When you watch the show, you're like, oh, there was only like 10 seconds of Disasterina doing this. How could they possibly lose? But, I wasn't disastrous enough that day. And I think that's what put me in the bottom. And there was only 5 people there. So it was a little tough, but I would love to do that one over again.
Can you give us a little insight into creating your new show, Sado Psychiatrist, alongside your wife, Ava Rose?
Well, everything about it was so fun. I think, we've never done a writing project together, and this is the first time we have ever done that. So we just sat in the kitchen and with our laptops, and we just went back and forth, and we came up with ideas, and it turned out really, really cool. I mean, we complimented each other a lot. I mean, we were butting heads a lot too. We were like, at points we were like yelling at each other and it was kind of ugly, but we got through it, and it turned out so good. And we were really worried when we were going to send it over to Out TV for them to accept the scripts. We thought they were going to rip it apart and say, oh, we need this, we need that, we need the other thing. And Philip Webb, the executive producer over there, he was like, love it, can't wait. And we're like, really? That's it? And the only thing that he complained about was like not having enough shirtless men. So we were like, okay, well, we're gonna put some shirtless men in there. So we took that to heart, and we put a whole bunch of shirtless men in there to just because we should have in the first place. It was great, and it turned out so good. Season 1 is out there. You can go get it on Amazon Prime Video. Only $2 each. A high def episode. Go watch it because it's really fucking hilarious and really cool and unique and interesting. You know, nobody's ever done anything like this before. It's a queer production. It's like 80% drag performers who are in there doing everything, and it's everybody from like Bitch Puddin', Abora, Meatball, Felony is in there. I'm gonna forget some, like Fagenstein is in there, and who else? I can't remember. Cornbread Jete is in there, and Foxy Edgeway is in there. Clit Eatswood. I mean, all these drag performers from the LA scene are in there, and they're fucking fantastic actors, right?
And in Canada, you can watch it just on Out TV. And is season 2 coming?
We are in negotiations. We're talking about it because of this whole COVID thing. Everything got pushed back. It's a very small production, very small amount of money we're getting, but we of course want to do season 2 because season 1 came out so fucking good.
Your Twitter handle is Cold Sluts on Fire. Where did that come from?
Well, that was the name of my comedy channel. When I started doing YouTube, before I started doing drag, I did a comedy channel called Cold Sluts on Fire, and we came up with funny little videos, and they're still there. Almost all of them are still up there, and you can see very early iterations of Disasterina. There's one thing that I did in drag before I did Disasterina, and you can go check that out. And so I just kept that title because everything I did under that title. But then when Disasterina started, that was the thing that really became popular, right? That was the thing that became what people were most interested in. So I changed everything around to Disasterina, but a lot of those names are gone, so I can't get it on Twitter, but I still have Cold Sluts on Fire.
You've also released some music. You released a whole musical album.
Well, I have, been an artist all my life, and I started being a musician when I was like in late high school or something. And after that, I did a bunch of multi-track stuff and art school. And then I was in bands, I toured the country. I actually did a micro tour of Latvia of all places, and I did a micro tour of Japan and of different bands. So I've been doing music for a long time. I do it on the computer now, so I don't use one of these very much anymore. It's all sort of like, waveforms and samples and stuff like that. But yeah, I do lots of music, so you should go on to all those things. You can go on to a Bandcamp is probably the best because Spotify and all those streaming services, they don't give the artists almost any money at all. So just buy one song, please. Just buy one song, and then the rest stream them.
Will we see any new music coming out in the near future? Do you have anything else coming?
In the new year, I've got the second installment of my series. 3 new songs will come out maybe like the new year, maybe like January.
Perfect. Go buy them on Bandcamp when they come out. Is there anything else you've been working on during the pandemic that you'd like to promote or shout out about?
Well, I'm doing stuff like this. I'm talking about like all these demon things I'm doing. This is one of the things I did.
Oh, nice.
You see it right here. There's funny little stuff made out of Barbies and all sorts of, you can't see it very well. Maybe I'll send you a video or something. But it's like, I just started to make this shit. I'm like, I'm going to fucking make it.
Is it a doll riding a sheep or something?
Yeah, it's a doll riding a sexy sheep with sexy boots.
Oh my God, it's got long legs. I didn't realize it had long legs.
Leg, sexy boot sheep. And this demon's on here with like screw arms, and look, it's got a severed hand, and it's screw arm. It's terrifying.
My last question for you is I'd love to ask all my guests, my fish tank, to do a whale call.
Whale call, huh? Me, 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 me. Oh!
That was definitely the longest one we've ever had. Make sure you follow Disasterina on all of her platforms as well. We'll have all the links below.
I'll be watching, making sure that you're following.
So
Thank you for coming to the show. See you next time. Gotta go. Bye bye. Bye bye, everybody. I love you so much.
Thanks so much for joining us today, Disasterina.